What up, YouTube Zero? Okay, so just finished watching Microsoft's conference. I put my phone on vibrate because my wife, I don't know what's wrong with my phone. She doesn't hear me. She keeps calling me and interrupting me. It is getting annoying, so I put it on vibrate. I'm sorry, honey. If you're watching this, guess what? That's what I did. Okay, so anyway. So, I wanted to give you my thoughts on what I saw today on Microsoft press conference. I'll keep it brief. I mean, it was okay. Right, it wasn't anything to write home about. I thought it was okay. I mean, it wasn't anything impressive. I wasn't blown away by any of the games that were there. A lot of the games there were cinematic trailers, to be honest. And a lot of them we knew that were going to be there. For instance, Halo, Gears, freaking Fallout, what the hell is the name of that other game? Tomb Raider, stuff like that. So I'm going to go over some of the stuff that I saw. Actually all of them, and I'll give you my opinion on it. So going right to Halo, the conference opened up with a little montage of their exclusives, and I apologize for my son being in the background. He's playing with his toys, so don't get mad at him. He's only 8 months. He's just having fun. So Halo 5 then showed up. They started showing the 4-player co-op, which is online only, which I don't have really problem with that. I don't think I've played split screen Halo since maybe 3. I think that was the last time, and even then it was greatly reduced compared to 2. It was pretty cool. They showed Agent Locke in action. He teamed up with some of the ODST guys like Nathan Fillion. He was teaming up with Green Lantern. That was kind of cool. And they started showing off some multiplayer mode called Warzone, which took a page from Titanfall. And what they did is they had bots in the middle of the match, and it gives the illusion of you being in a real war. I thought it was okay. I imagine that's not going to be in the classic multiplayer matches like Team Deathmatch or whatnot, or Slayer. I think those are going to be as classic as they get. Graphically, I wasn't really impressed with it. I thought it looked a lot like 4. The major difference is that the art direction was a million times better, which Halo 4 was a very pretty game, and the art direction was great to begin with, but this one took it to the next level. A lot of the enemies reminded me of Transformers. That was so crazy. I thought it was cool. I thought the game, had a lot of aesthetic. I thought it was real cool. So, then they showed off some game there, right, from Keiji Inafune and the dudes who did Batman Arkham Origin Blackgate, and they also did the canceled Mega Man X FPS game, which I'm very grateful that the game was canceled. It looked very bad from what I saw. But, the cinematic trailer is called Recore, and they showed some chick there, which I guess that's how they roll in the money now, right? You gotta have some girl as your main protagonist, right? Or as a playable protagonist. That way, there's no bitching online, right? So, it looked kind of cool. I was like, it was pretty cool, but cinematic. I can't really speak for the game itself, but I imagine the game is a lot like Knack. That's what it looked like, it looked like Knack. You have this core, and you constantly attach yourself to these other robots, and each of those robots have different play styles, I'm guessing, right? So I can't say too much about that. Then they announced 360 backwards compatibility. And the 360 compatibility was kind of cool because there's some games that are not on PC and some games that are not on Xbox One or PlayStation 4 or Wii U that you can only play on Xbox 360. Crackdown 1, Crackdown 2. I love me some Crackdown, okay? It's a guilty pleasure of mine. Tenchu Z. I can think of other games that are for Xbox Live Arcade, right? Like Ikaruga recently came out for Steam, but that's on 360. Radiant Silvergun is there. Radiant Silvergun is there, but they didn't unlock full compatibility, which was a little bit of a disappointment. They claim that the game runs exactly the way it did on the 360, which I don't remember Mass Effect running that bad because they did show Mass Effect. It looked like it was running at 10 frames per second. It was pretty disgusting. But who knows? Maybe down the road they'll go ahead and have a full compatibility list, which would be pretty sweet if you ask me. I have a ton of shmups that are Japan only. I doubt those are ever going to be playable. That would be pretty cool though. But then after that, one more thing about the backwards compatibility. It's weird because they started showing off games like that already remastered, right, on the Xbox One and PS4, and I'm like, okay, why the hell would you go back to the 360 version, right? It's very weird. Then after that, they went ahead and went right into Fallout 4, which was the same, more or less the same, with a couple of clips extra that you didn't see in Bethesda's conference. I was a little bit more impressed. I was like, okay, that's looking crazy, man. I'm so glad I was able to pre-order the Pip-Boy edition on Amazon. So that's definitely going to get to my house day one. But apparently, anyone who hasn't played Fallout 3, it comes with Fallout 4 if you have Xbox One. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then after that, they brought, EA on board, put them on stage, talking about EA Access and that. You want to play, games like Titanfall, you can subscribe to the service, and you pay monthly, and you get to play them unlimited. It's a lot like PS Plus or Xbox Live Gold, right? Games for Gold, right? That's what it was looking like. But I'm not paying for freaking 3 services, right? I'm not gonna pay for Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus or freaking EA Access, like when you can just buy the game when it comes out and then keep it, right? I guess it's okay if you're not a bulk video game buyer, right? It's like some people here. But, I thought it was cool nonetheless. I thought that, it's good for people who, they don't do impulse purchases. They're smart about their game buying. They only buy a couple of games a year, so that's kind of cool. They showed Garden Warfare 2, right? I have the first one. I played maybe an hour, and I thought it was pretty fun, but that's as far as it went. After that, they started showing that Forza Motorsport 6, to be honest with you, the last one that I enjoyed personally was 3. Not that the other games past that aren't good. I bought 4. I didn't really play it as much. But 3 was fun. I just went to the storefront and created every single car that I've ever dreamed of having, right? Street Fighter cars, Sega Genesis cars, Nintendo 64 cars. It's crazy, right? The cars that I've created, right? I made a car for every character in Street Fighter 2. It's crazy. It's so fun. I made a Final Fantasy car, Square Enix car. It's so cool. But anyway, they showed it. It looked a lot like 5. I wasn't too impressed with that. Then, I got some notes here that I'm reading. So much stuff that they showed, right? I don't remember them all from the top of my head. They started showing off Dark Souls 3, which I'm sure is coming to PS4. A lot of the stuff that they showed is coming to PS4 as well. Like Fallout's coming out for PS4. Garden Warfare 2 is coming out for PS4. I'm guessing that I don't know, because the first one, it took a while for the PS4 to get it. The first game. One thing going back, Fallout for the Xbox has mod support. Obviously, there's going to be mods that aren't compatible with it. I'm guessing like the graphical updates and stuff like that, stability updates and stuff like that. Mods, that the modding community does for Bethesda, right, for free. So I doubt that that's gonna, be compatible on the Xbox One. But it's still cool to see that a lot of stuff is gonna be coming out on Xbox One. Dark Souls 3, it's coming out for PS4. Why wouldn't it? They didn't say that it was exclusive or a timed exclusive, so that would have been a big deal in my opinion. A lot of people who have PS4s are more into Bloodborne now, but there's a good amount of people who prefer Dark Souls over Bloodborne because of the difficulty. So that still would have been a pretty good win for Microsoft, but that wasn't the case. They showed off the Xbox Elite controller. It has to be better than your Xbox One controller, which I personally don't like. Every time I go to my friend's house and we play KI or one of the games that he purchased, I just simply don't like the controller. 360s was better in my opinion. Then they showed off Rainbow Six, The Division, which The Division looked like it took a hit graphically. I expected that after the nonsense that happened with, Watch Dogs, right? And then they showed off Rainbow Six Siege, which I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not getting that game. At first, I was interested in it, but after seeing it more and more, especially watching some alpha or beta videos on YouTube, I just was not impressed. And it doesn't seem to have terrorist hunts or single player campaigns, so that's not gonna happen. Then they started showing off some indie games, right? They showed this game called Gigantic, which I think I saw last year at E3. Was it E3? I don't remember. It's like this MOBA third-person game, free to play. No, thank you. They showed Tacoma. That's from the creators of, I think, Gone Home or something like that, or whatever. I'm not interested. Showed Ashen, Cuphead. Cuphead is the only game out of all the indie games that they showed that impressed me. That game looks amazing. That could be like the next Meat Boy in terms of popularity. Then they got early access, right? It's called Xbox Game Preview, which is kind of cool, right? That's always a good thing, right? I think that if PCs have it for indie games, why shouldn't Xbox, right? So I think that's kind of cool. They seem to also be integrating Windows 10 very closely to Xbox One. I mean, didn't they try that with Windows 8? And also even prior to that with Vista. It's like their third attempt, maybe it'll be successful this time. Third time's a charm, right? Then they started showing the dude who did DayZ has like this gravity game. I'm tired of that. Okay, that movie sucked. I don't care what anyone says. So the game sucked too. They gave a dick. Then they showed some other game. Look, I don't mean to be negative. I don't mean to crap on these indie developers. Nothing personal against these guys. But I'm tired of these artistic games, okay? With no substance. I just can't do it. So, and I'm speaking specifically about Beyond Eyes. Alright, that game looks so boring that I think that whenever I want to go to sleep, I'm playing it. Alright. Then they showed... You okay? Then they showed Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I don't even know if that was gameplay. It looked very impressive. In fact, it's so impressive that Nathan Drake is going to have to be careful, and I can see why he is ducking 2015, because Rise of the Tomb Raider was, she had her crosshairs on Nathan Drake, man. It looked very impressive. Nathan Drake's he's gonna be careful, man. He's got a target on his back. Then they started showing off, I think, the second best thing of the show, and that's like this rare collection, right? It has like every single rare game. Well, okay, not all of them, but it has mostly all of them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not all of them, because I don't remember if Rare did the Super Nintendo version of Battletoads, but that's not there. GoldenEye's not there. Donkey Kong's not there. Stuff that Nintendo either published or developed closely with them, right? But it has Perfect Dark Zero. It has Grabbed by the Ghoulies, the two what's the name of it? It's called Viva Pinata games. It has Cameo. It has Battletoads NES, Battletoads for the arcade, which is going to be freaking amazing. It has Banjo-Kazooie. I think it has Banjo-Tooie, stuff like that, right? That's pretty cool. I'm definitely going to get that as well. Then they showed their new game, which completely crapped all over Assassin's Creed 4 and Assassin's Creed Rogue. It went in entirely. It's to the point where what's the point of playing that game anymore? It's like this massively multiplayer pirate game, which I hate Assassin's Creed 4. I think that it's a terrible game. Hang on. Why does my dad call me so much? I just don't get it. I don't get it. So anyway, then they showed Fable Legends, which looks freaking awful to me, right? It looks really bad. Oh my god, it just does not look good to me. They showed Gears of War Ultimate, which is a remaster of the first game, which I thought one was good. We played it a lot, but after stuff like Master Chief Collection, Nathan Drake Collection, the Handsome Collection, what's the point? Like why are they only doing one game? Why didn't they just remaster 1, 2, and 3 and keep Judgment out of there, right? That would have been pretty cool. Gameplay though of Gears 4, which was right after this game, it looked pretty good. One thing I'll say is that they are desperately trying to remove themselves from the negativity that the original trilogy had, right? Like bulky men, football players. Some people think that the dialogue was some of the worst in gaming history, which I don't see why they would say that. I thought it was fine. It was serviceable, right? You're using this Caucasian guy. It's pretty lean, tall, right? Then you have a chick who has a skirt. It's almost like they snuck into the COG's base and took their vests and they just went elsewhere because they were wearing regular clothes under it, right? That was kind of weird, but it felt a lot like a PlayStation game. I don't know why I'm saying that. Okay, I kind of do know why I'm saying that, but the graphics, they were very impressive. It is the Unreal Engine 4, right? And I don't know, it just felt not like Gears. Except the combat. The combat, once you get into combat, Gears of War. But everything around it just didn't feel like Gears. Graphics were like amazing. Like there was a part where he like leaned into the car and the car just, it went forward a little bit. That was pretty good. I'm pretty sure they did that in the previous games, but not like this. This was crazy. Then, what everyone says stole the show. This freaking Minecraft, right, where they show the hollow lens, where you can literally shift the angle. Well, you don't really shift the location, like the angle of whatever you're creating in Minecraft, but rather the perspective that you're seeing things shift, and you can pull, push away. You can zoom in. It's like it's almost like a bird eyes view, right? For as a map. It's an interactive map, which it's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty awesome. But at the same time, I mean, but what does it do for the game? Because it's just a map essentially, right? But whatever. I wasn't too impressed with it. It looked a lot like smoke and mirrors to me. I don't think that it's going to be that smooth. And the reason why is because you have to understand that I've been burned by Microsoft with their whole Kinect 2. They made it look all nice and fancy on the press conference. And then when the press conference was over and then they started selling it, it was a piece of crap, right? Yeah, no, that's not going to happen this time. So, after that, they just started showing off some of the partnerships that they have with Valve and Oculus Rift, which was okay. And that's really it. They didn't really show much other than that. I thought it was an okay show. I mean, it could have been better. I think Sony has an advantage at this point. I pray that Sony has more games, because if they have either the same, more or less, is not bueno for me. I need it to be more, just period. If it's about the same or less, then we got a problem, right? This would probably be one of the worst E3s of all time. And this video ended up being 20 minutes anyway. So, I'm not going to be able to watch EA's and Ubisoft because I have to pick up my wife, right? But I will absolutely do a Sony one. I don't know if I'm going to do a live reaction. I tried to, but as you can hear over here, this guy right here doesn't let me. He cries, he gets hungry, blah, 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 blah. So, what do I give the conference? I give it a 6. I thought it was okay. I expected more. I expected things like Metal Gear Solid to be there. I expected a price cut. Didn't happen. We did get a new controller, which is cool. I just expected the 500 gig to be 300 and then the terabyte to be 400. And they didn't do that. I wanted them to show more Gears footage, and all we got was a single player stuff. And it's funny because the game's coming out next year. It wasn't. I just expected more. That's really it. We didn't even get a season 3 for Killer Instinct, which is very odd to me. And yeah, I'm gonna end the video here, guys. Sorry for the long video, but keep an eye out for my next part. Later.